I'm Mahdi Shaheeb Sher. My website is www.mahdishaheebsher.com. I think one of my interests in the world as Mahdi Shaheeb Sher is India in the world. I think that India has advanced as an economy in the world. I think it's done that. I think it has done that in the past 15 years. I think that India, as an economy, is one of the largest economies in the world, and it's one of the largest economies in the world as a democracy. I think India, as the world's largest democracy, is setting a standard in the world, as some kind of role model in the world for democracy, some kind of democracy icon, where countries kind of look up to India as kind of the largest democracy in the world, in terms of population, and also as maybe an Asian democracy as well. So I think that India does kind of position itself as an Asian developer of democracy, and maybe democracy in Asia as well. So I think India does feel like it has a lot of responsibility when it comes to the role it's playing with democracy in the world. And I think especially in Asia, it has done a lot to develop a democracy in the world. I think we've seen it in places like Burma, but also in maybe Thailand and Indonesia and Malaysia, maybe Singapore as well. And I think how Taiwan is also projecting itself as a democracy, and a leading one, is primarily based on the success of India as a democracy in Asia. So I think that India is leading the way in Asia as a democracy. And I think there's other countries which have also developed as democracies, and maybe large, powerful democracies. I think Japan is now very much a democracy because of its dependence on America for its global economic stability in the world, and also for the Asian appetite of Japanese the Japanese economy as an economic model, as an economic tiger economy in Asia, as a tiger economy in Asia. So I think that India is important in the world at the moment, but I think it's more as a traditional old country that's powerful because of its friendship with America above anything else. And I think it's received a lot of political and economic assistance from America to build itself up as an economy by virtue of being a democracy in Asia. So I think that India is very kind of influential in terms of the population it has in India. It has 1 billion Indian people in India. So I think that's quite important. I think Europe also has maybe approaching 1 billion people in Europe, and America has maybe 500 million people. So I think that Europe, India, China and America are very large countries that cover a large area and have a large population as well, that can cover a lot of the world as well, in the day-to-day travel that it does. So I think that with India in the world as a contributor to the current global economy, that there is some dependency by the current global economy on India for some of its maybe resources such as Indian steel and other things. But I think India is primarily an agrarian economy that depends on agriculture, and I think that's what India is dependent on. I do have very favourable opinions about India because I think primarily India supports Hindu nationalism as its form of government, and this could be opposed against democracy and its rights and principles. So I think that India, as one of the largest democracies in the world, could have its own issues of human rights abuse and maybe criminalization within society, and perhaps not the infrastructure development that's expected from a modern economy. So I think those are some of the criticisms of India. It doesn't have that infrastructure development that's expected from an economy, and that does put it back in the eyes of the world as to what kind of democracy it is. And I think that India by choosing to kind of follow its traditional values of Hindu nationalism, along with its religious ethics and also its family values and perceptions in a modern world, very much contradicts its role within the current global economy. And I think that's one of the challenges that is faced by the world, that India is maybe somehow lagging behind the rest of the world with its kind of economic and democratic development. I think it is very heavily dependent on agriculture and kind of traditional family values and infrastructure dependency. So I don't think India can compete with countries like Vietnam or China or Japan or maybe even Indonesia as a country for the future. I don't think it can compete against maybe a lot of the maybe Middle East or North African countries, simply because it's lagging far behind the rest of the world in terms of its development as a modern country. So I think that India could benefit a lot by developing itself more as an advanced country than a traditional agriculture one. And I think that's one of the unfortunate things about India in the world, that it is still very much an agricultural economy. And this can be checked by its GDP. I think 60% of Indian GDP is agriculture. I think maybe 30% is steel and other resources and minerals as well, and resources and minerals. And I think it has 20% maybe advanced services for the gratuity and benefit it gets from America with its economic assistance and development assistance that it gets. So I think that India is quite important in the world, but it is fundamentally by character a very traditional country with kind of agriculture and Hindu nationalism, which has been present in India as a powerful political force since 1945. So I think that India does does need to become more modern, like the rest of the world, including China, Japan, and Vietnam, maybe Indonesia as well, and maybe other countries as well, who do play an important part in addressing human rights where they occur, even if it means there might not be as many police officers or developed roads and accessible remote villages or towns that need to be that need police enforcement. I think that India as a modern country would be more focused on its democratic progress that it has achieved in Asia, with maybe its support for Burma and Aung San Suu Kyi maybe, and I think some of its non-violence, which is something I'm very much opposed against. I think non-violence creates defenselessness for a country. It takes away a means for a country's right to self-defense, and maybe the same for people as well. It takes away an individual's right to self-defense. So I don't think non-violence is the solution to a violent and problematic world. I think it might be adopted by a lot of countries at the moment, including Taiwan, Tibet, and Burma, because of the example of India. But I think ultimately non-violence is some kind of peace pacification which annihilates a country's means of defense and development. So that's some of my views about democracy in India and democracy in the world. Thank you.